Okay, I am attempting to do this on my local internet that I've had major issues with. So we're gonna see if this works. This wasn't gonna be a very long stream though, so you know, there's that. But we're gonna see how stable it is. Okay. Hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So let's see. Let me make sure everything is working. Okay, it is working. And guys, it is stable. I cannot believe it. They actually fixed my internet. And I'm pretty sure it's been fixed for a while, but I've been very insecure about not using mobile tethering, which is expensive, to do this because it just has been really unreliable. Like, let's see. Okay, it is being reliable right now. That is very good. Very good. I'm gonna actually post real quick. This is gonna be like a 45-minute, hour-long at most stream. So it's like, this is just basically me reconnecting with everybody. I know nobody's here. Let's see. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Is my microphone sounding good? Hopefully, it's actually picking up my. It is okay, so it should be fine. Which actually, hold on, a lot of things need to be done. A lot of things. Let me see, because I need to go to content and live and get my link for this. Also, I just put that face of the good old Secret of the Mimic, right there because it's funny. That's literally the only reason. It thematically has nothing to do, although sort of actually, it does have relevance to FNAF, and we have to talk about that too. We're gonna go through this because I think this will be very helpful. Okay, let's see. I'm talking about stuff. Have short stream. Talking about stuff, guys. I'm talking here. Okay, let me go ahead and add this too because I need to change this. Let me go ahead and tag Beachnum, because that is, we're going to talk about that. I think that is correct. Yes. Okay. Game Jam. Dev log. Okay, so I don't expect too many people to be on here tonight. It is late. I had no preparation for this. This is just a spare of the moment thing. I'm gonna be on here for like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how deep in the weeds we get, which always happens. We always talk, and typically our yammering goes on for way too long. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's exciting, which is on screen. This is the Toxic Terror Game Jam, which is being released or being hosted by Fiznom, who is a particularly relevant figure in post, but also getting back into the FNAF scene. They really liked Secret of the Mimic, which I really loved too. And also, it seems to be a good inspiration for, because I think they used to be, I don't know the full bio for Fizdom, because I'm like relatively recent fan of his, and specifically, I really like watching his streams. The gameplay, it's very fun to watch. Definitely go check out their channel, which I should have linked. I should also link this as well, but this is kind of sporadic, so things are not prepared. They never are. which is kind of what I want to talk about. And I know I'm talking a little bit all over the place. So this is something that is going on right now. 27 days, guys. 27 days. I have already entered into this game jam. This is something that I'm very, very excited about. I've always wanted to make a game. I've always wanted to make a game, like forever. The thing is, right now I have zero idea or concept for how to actually make a game. Like I've taken tutorials for like Unreal Engine several times and have like played around with it. I've like attempted some 3D modeling with like Blender, tried to make the classic donut, failed miserably, but also didn't really pick it up again. And I think that's really what I want to push myself on. This is like something that I have talked about on stream, is something that about me that I really struggle with, is like pushing myself to overcome obstacles when things get really difficult and like just push through. So that is what I'm going to be working on with this, because this is going to be a project that I am not unaware of. Is going to be extremely difficult, right? And also, I'm aware I'm not really talking to anybody, but I'm doing this for myself as well. But I'm going to bring back this classic friend, the mind map, because this is, I think, how I'm going to organize my like plan for how I'm going to like work on this project and kind of break it down, because I have such bad short attention span and ADD that I just need to focus and hone in on like this, especially since like recently I spent like 90 hours almost in Silksong, so I know I have time to do this, just in like the last since release, so like since almost a month, which is kind of crazy to think that. So I have time, but this is an undertaking for sure. So like the cash prize doesn't really matter to me right now. That's not really why I'm joining it. Also, it's crazy. This has 728 people joined into it. Like, that is incredible. Also, if they make 728 games, Fiznum is going to have a long stream. But that's going to be really, really fun. I'm really, really excited about this. I wanted to go through the rules and look at the kind of the main theme and talk about it, talk about some ideas, and then kind of end it there, because I'm going to be streaming again more in depth tomorrow, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, which is like my streaming schedule for what my plan is for this, because I do have things going on right now, but I do have time. So this is the Toxic Terror event that is going on. This is a 27-day, so that's a pretty long, extensive, like longer than normal, because normally these like game jams are like 24 to 48 hours, I think, like most of the time it seems like they are. So this is much, much longer than like the typical one. So what is the theme? Well, guys, the theme is sit and survive. So this is for horror games, right? So the concept is like a sit and survive genre, like the genre of like sit and survive, which was famously, I don't know if anybody earlier did it, but I know that like phrase, I believe, was specifically coined by Scott Cawthon in his game, because I think he literally made a game called Sit and Survive, and I think that was like the start of the genre unknowingly. But I think other games kind of fall under it too, like a lot of like anomaly games, like what's it called? The famous one that has like a bazillion games, where it's like you check the cameras, you're looking for anomalies. I think that in a way is sort of like a sit and survive, where it's like a job. You're acting like a job. You're sitting at your desk, but there's not really a like, I don't know. I think that that's kind of like a different branch of it. But the examples that they give are like the monster invades your home, but you're an old man and can't get up from the sofa. How do you survive? A psychotic killers have kidnapped you. They've tied you up to a chair in their basement. How do you survive? A spirit has cursed you. You can't get out of your car as it drives through a haunted forest. How do you survive? You can take the theme literally or try to subvert it for the premise of your game. It's all up to you and your creative skills. So the entire concept. So I want to go over here real quick because there's 3 criterias that they lay out that I wanted to get into. Hold on, how do I thought there was like a whole thing. Do I have this on the wrong format? To create a child. Child. Dun dun dun. Hold on. Go back. Something went wrong. Why? Here it is. Okay. I wanted to create. Wait, it wasn't the same thing as. Oh, it was like a team map that I was doing. Mine maps. Was it this one that I wanted to do? Maybe. Does this give me more availability? Hold on. Move to team map. Publishing settings. I'm not like completely familiar with this program. List. I'm trying to see which one would be like the best one to use. I thought it would be just this one. Okay, it's not letting me. Anyways. So, hold on. So, toxic game jam. So the main theme for this is sit, or theme. Theme is sit and survive. So immediately whenever I think about sit and survive, like the classic example is like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like most famously, that is like the most classic sit and survive aspect. So what exactly is like a sit and survive game? I don't know if there will be any like specific things survive games. Sit and survive. I don't think there's any like specific because these are all fan games released. Oh yeah. So Sit and Survive was the name of the Scott Cawthon. Yeah, how many days you can survive alone in the wilderness. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know if there was any like official definitions, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally you sit in a place and you try to survive some sort of situation or occurrence. So like the examples here, like something is containing you to a specific spot and you have to survive that situation. Now, I do have an idea. I do have a concept. I don't know if it goes outside the realm. It also kind of falls into the area of like complex potentially. So it might be shelved for something else, but I think it's an interesting idea, and I think I'll delve into it a little bit, and we'll see kind of where it lands. So that's the theme. The theme is based on sit and survive, but and I don't know if there's a way to like, because I don't really like it this way. I liked it whenever I could like go down with it, but fine, whatever. So you have your theme, but there's also several other categories you're being judged on. So like the winning criteria is based on terrific, terrifying, terrific, how effective your entry is. So it's terrific, thematic, and creative are the things. So we have our theme. Okay. So we are being judged on let's look at this. So the criteria. Yeah. These are going to be terrific. Not what I wanted. Here we go. And this is just me organizing this for myself, so I keep these things in mind. Thematic, like how closely does it abide by the theme, which is sit and survive. Creative. Okay. So the theme is sit and survive, and then obviously you have pretty standard rules for this, so the game must be created for the jam, and obviously since we're brainstorming now, like it's open, we are ready to go. It has to be an original IP, no use of like AI or any of that stuff. And development teams are allowed, but only one person. It's just gonna be me. Must comply with like community guidelines. That's important. Like obviously don't like show any real life footage of anything grotesque or anything that would flag it, or just would be just not good. But like discussions of serious issues in a tasteful manner are acceptable based on everything I've seen. Also, they gave some really good resources that I'll probably end up checking out. Like obviously, this whole project is a big undertaking, and I'm not unaware of how much work this is gonna get. I'm really just gonna dive into this and just see what happens. Plan as much as I can, obviously, but I'm just very excited about this. So, on those criteria, so terrific how effective your entry is as a horror game. This criteria focuses on the experience of playing the actual game. Is it engaging? Is it fun? Does it make your heart race? Terrific can mean many different things from project to project. How terrifying your game is, if it's focused on actually scaring the player, as in how pleasantly spooky your game is it focused on Halloween horror as a visual aesthetic? Quality experience over scares. Due to this, game with high terrific scores may differ wildly. Obviously, this is like FizzNum is judging all this. It's going to be very subjective, but I do think it's going to be, regardless, really good feedback, because first game, it's not going to be the best thing in the entire world, but it is going to be, and I'm very excited for it to be. So terrific just means basically gameplay experience versus basically like scare factor balance. So like, are you focusing on the scares rather than the gameplay, and like what are you sacrificing and finding the good balance with that? So thematic, is it staying to the theme? Is it staying to the theme? Creativity, like how is it out of the box or unique in its approach or mechanic? Mechanic? I think that's right. Yeah. So these are all like questions for us to answer individually. Or just me. Yes. How unique and memorable is your entry? Yeah, the criteria focuses on your potential game has it on its own. The character is easy to remember. Is the story something that will stick? So there's a big focus on like story, like obviously it having one. That's very important. And I have a very fun idea that is probably too. I have a big problem where like I'm a very big ideas person. Whenever it comes to implementation, that's where I get into the weeds. But I can come up with lots of ideas, and I have an idea for this that like balances. But the thing is, I want to figure out: is it truly a sit and survive game? Because I'm all about being subversive. I want to like subvert and like have the meta narratives and like have the fun. I really love creating a world that feels very psychological in its approach to horror. So that's like very much the approach that I want to take with my game. But I have zero experience and I have to be realistic with myself. But I also want to like allow myself to be creative in this. So the idea that I have for the sit and survive mechanic. Okay, so the idea of like a sit and survive is that you are detained in a central place with limited ways of avoiding the scare, right? So it's like you have limited resources and you have to manage them. So it's like resource management. That is like a huge part of sit and survive. Like when you think about like Five Nights at Freddy's, the whole game is not scary because of the jump scares. The jump scare scares you because it's not necessarily sudden, but it is a release in the stress built from resource management. because you're scared of being punished, right? And that's the whole like concept to me of what makes it so scary, right? But I wonder something. I have me a theory about this of how I could push this. And for those who are wondering what the context of this is, so we are basically trying to come up with ideas for this event that just came up. We're going to be entering the Toxic Terror Game Jam. It's being hosted by Fiznum, which I don't know how many. Well, I mean, very very popular. Um, Also, Jacksepticeye's also doing a game jam, but it's like 5 days, and I was like, no, no. I found out about that after that, and it was kind of funny. Um, yeah, so I think it's really interesting. Like all of these have to do basically with being detained and having to like having limited mobility, right? And having to resource manage. I had I have an idea, guys. I have an idea, but it's a little bit. I'm scared that it's too complicated. Like that is my worry. This might be an idea that gets shelved, but okay. My idea is, um, basically, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. So, I was thinking of an idea where you have kind of a FNAF 4 situation, right? Where you have like a bedroom, right? That's like classic. You have like there's a game. I forgot. Isn't it? There's a game where it's like sleep paralysis demon, right? But I forgot. I've never played it. Um, but I forgot what it's called. And it's like you. It's kind. I don't know if it's exactly sit and survive. But it is interesting where it's like you're fixed to the bed and you have to like manage your different resources, and I don't know what those are exactly right now, but my idea is, what if you had a blending of like restrictive free roam with this sit and survive concept? And what I mean with that is, what if you had to balance them where one of them restricted your movement of the other? And that sounds like complicated, but what I mean is like you have something like an immediate threat that's in your bedroom, and you have to manage that by going into a dream. And the dream is something that you can move around into, but it has its like it has its own unique threat, right? And you're having to explore and like potentially like solve puzzles in this, but you have to like shift like pretty frequently over to this awake state in order to manage the immediate threat, right? So you have the mobility restriction, but you also have freedom. Um, but they're both like you wanting more freedom and to like explore, like the want for exploration directly puts you in harm's way over in like the restrictive area, if that makes sense. Um, I don't. That sounds so complicated, especially for somebody who has like no coding experience, no experience at all. But I think that would be really cool. And I don't know if I could do like a kind of a demo concept of that. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like because what I was thinking, right? And I don't know true if that fits directly with the theme of sit and survive. Because yes, you are detained. Yes, it would all be completely 100% about resource management. Because my thought is, what if you had to get resources from the dream world in order to survive the immediate threat? And it's like you project yourself out. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that fits. It could be kind of like the mini games. Like it could be. This could be like you're switching in between like a mini game from like Five Nights at Freddy's, like Five Nights at Freddy's 3 or like 2. But you also have to like play the game too. Um, but if I made both of them like really simple, but like I don't know. I could play around with some of the concepts there, and I don't know if that it's clear for exactly what I'm talking about. I'll try to like illustrate this for myself. It's the central place. So resource management. Let's go to another one. Wait, didn't I have? Oh yeah, there were ideas. So my ideas. Okay. So my one idea is a game where you are where you are in a bedroom, detained. You are in a bedroom trying to sleep, but there is a threat in the room, and the only way to defeat threat is to explore the dream world to get resources. So that would basically be the cameras. So this dream world would basically be a 3D camera that you can find information, that you could find resources. You'd also get like the story bits, what they would be like in the puzzles. Like I'm thinking like you have like an escape room situation, right? But you're having to maintain this. And I don't know, but like, oof, there's just a lot of things that I have to think about with this idea. So like the idea is like you have a dynamic, okay, you have like a dynamic between waking and sleeping world. Resources are in one world, but the threat is in the other. Dynamic between waking, and the whole dynamic of that is that you have to balance exploration with survival. You have to balance your desire to explore and discover the story with keeping track of the threat in the real world. So that's just like an immediate idea that comes to mind, like very very quick off the top. And I'm thinking like the waking world between, so like this world, waking world, like the dream world will be very liminal and will be very liminal. And I don't know, it might be one of those things where maybe I don't add a threat to the liminal space and just have it about like this is where you get your resources, and so it's like you bring those resources into and they help you like defend yourself against this thing. And as far as like characters and all that, we'll get to all that very early stages. It's the first day, guys. So that is the idea, right? This approach to it. But I think that there's a lot of potential with things that we could do with that. But it is a question of whether or not this exactly fits within the theme, and that's what I'm wondering. Is like, does this thematically make sense to the theme of sit and survive, to the concept of what it is? And I think it could, but I think it would have to be done well, which it doesn't need to be done well because it's my first game, but you know, I'll do the best I can. So once we get the idea, also engine-wise, I have Unreal Engine. I also have Unity for some reason. I have a lot of programs. I also have Blender, so I have those. So I have pretty much everything I need, in a way. So we'll see how everything goes. But anyways, as far as the plan goes, and I'll kind of end it here because this was just supposed to be something really short. So the plan, as far as what we're doing. So tomorrow I'm gonna stream after I get off work, but that will be a very different stream because tomorrow, hopefully, I'm getting in the Freddy Fazbear kit, the tickets for fun. And I really want to go through that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And also, it might give us some inspiration. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to do some more brainstorming. And then I really want to break down kind of day by day for how the workload is going to be kind of measured out here. Because I really want to get a head start on this and really get this moving as far as like the ideas. And if you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments below or whatever. Also, just trademark, this is my idea, don't steal it, don't steal the idea. If you're a fellow Toxic Terror Game Jammer, I have the video proof of this live stream. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here because I didn't really plan on streaming. This is just a spare of the moment thing. But thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, whatever time zone.